Welcome to the Hey Docs podcast with your host, Jill Allen. Today I am joined by Dr. Lauren Carlson and Dr. Mike Seelig, the powerhouse duo behind Shine Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics. As a husband and wife team who launched a joint pedo ortho practice while raising two young kids and still working as associates, their story is one of grit, clarity, and purpose. In this episode, we're diving into what it takes to build a practice together, how to hire intentionally, and how to create a team culture that feels like family. So let's dive in. This episode was brought to you by Gray Finch. Hey docs, if you want to have a great business, the right practice management software is essential. But some can be slow, outdated, and lacking good support. That's why I recommend Gray Finch to all orthodontists. It's the fastest, most reliable, and most secure platform to grow your business and improve your efficiency. It's completely web-based, so you can run your entire practice anywhere and from any device with no servers, no downloads, or hidden fees. They even have the most helpful and responsive support team around. Right now, Gray Finch is giving a $500 discount to our listeners. Visit grayfinch.com/Jill Allen to learn more and see why it's one of the fastest growing providers in America. Mike, Lauren, I am so excited to have you guys on Hey Docs. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here as well.
Yeah, feels like old times.
Yeah.
I know. It's always great. We had good conversations over the past year and a half or so. So this is always fun to add one more into the mix.
Yeah.
So one of the things I would love to do before we jump in and get to the meat and potatoes of this episode is, would you guys mind just telling the audience a little bit of background about the two of you and what led you to opening your practice together?
Yeah.
Kick it off.
Sure. We both met in dental school. We both went to University of Louisville. We started dating second year, and then we got engaged fourth year. We both went to residency apart, so that was fun. We were engaged and got married living apart. I was in Indianapolis and he was in Chicago, so not too far away. So we made that work, got married, lived a year apart, and then I moved to Chicago. We lived there for a little bit. He finished residency, and then we moved down to Nashville, and that's where we are now. And then we started a family, so we have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, I love it.
And that's where we are. And then we started as associates with a practice, both ortho-pedo practices. And we were there for about 4 years until we decided to open our own. That's my side of it. He can elaborate. A quick version of it, but
all right, Mike.
Last time we did this, I got when we were engaged wrong. Mike had built everything, so you got it.
It's like the Newlywed Show, right? What do we get right? What do we get wrong?
Exactly.
I think it was when I proposed or something. But either way, it was perfect. Yeah, okay. I have nothing to correct.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Yeah. What I want to do is, one of the reasons I thought it would be really great to have you guys on the show is it's hard enough doing an ortho startup practice, but doing an ortho-pedo startup practice. And we did that from the ground up. I would really love it if we can jump into that and talk about that. What led you both? I mean, I know you were in your own specialties, 4 years into associateships, making that decision to say, hey, we can do this. And I think the kicker is, and you're married too. So it's not just that you're partners, but you're life partners as well. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that, some of the benefits, some of the challenges that you guys have seen so far.
Take that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren and I knew even as early on as dental school that we worked well side by side. So even before we had specialized, we just happened to wind up in the same. So our dental school had a 120 chair clinic and they put us 3 chairs apart. So inevitably we wound up assisting one another, helping one another out in the clinic. So that was like our first taste at actually working as clinicians with one another.
The struggles of dental school.
Luckily, we wound up not going into the exact same specialty. So we got to have a little bit of separation, but obviously being married, you're like you are partners. It's almost like a partnership. But I think for me, I know she and I should be more or less always aligned and have ultimately the same goals in mind. We want healthy kids, successful family. Goals from us is it just, we were already partners, so to speak. So working together didn't, obviously it brought in new types of stressors, but I don't really feel like our relationship changed. We were already aligned as far as big picture things, what we wanted. Now we're married. We might disagree on small day-to-day things. The big picture things that you want to be aligned on with a business partner, I don't think we've ever really had an issue there. And ultimately, I know there are business partnerships that a lot of times go awry, and I just feel like we have a lot better chances of that not being an issue, considering we are family partners and business partners second.
Yeah. And I will say, he always knew he wanted to be an owner. For the longest time, I pushed back that I didn't want to be an owner. And our associates were ortho-pedo practices just like ours. So we learned a lot from where we were before. And in the year and a half leading up to us owning our own, we worked in the same practice. So we also had that trial run where it's like, can we do this? But it's not we're not risking it ourselves yet. It's an associate. And so he actually tried to buy a practice. That kind of fell through. I still wasn't sure if I wanted to be an owner. But then when that fell through, I was just coming back from maternity, and we loved our associate office and we still worked for them part-time, but it was just very high volume. And you can only do that for so long. And I think after having my second baby, I was just like, this is a little bit too much. Our commute was also almost an hour each way. So we, at that point, were like, this is maybe the time that we're going to look into doing it ourselves. So we had really great trial runs to see if like we can do it. And we learned a lot from them, and we used a lot of their methods and practices to build ours. But I think it was just the balance of business and life was getting to be too much at the associate. We went to do our own. And like we said, we still work for them part-time. They're great. We love them. They love us. But it was just time to do our own venture.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love for us to take a jaunt down memory lane, let's say. And I can remember those first conversations that we were having way back. It's weird to think back, right? We think about all those pre-startup calls that we do and meeting every 3 weeks, and we're just meeting and talking and going through all of that. And of course, you guys were also a young family going through all of that. And I'm wondering if one of you or both of you can just talk to the audience a little bit about what that was like, trying to juggle. I know you just talked about a little bit, but having a young family, starting the practice, and we're not even starting one practice, but we're starting 2 practices, and just what that was like and how you guys were able to manage launching 2 businesses, because it really was two independent businesses under one name, and just some of those challenges.
Well, I think we had a lunch free for about 12 months. We had the benefit of, like Lauren said, we were in the same office as associates. We had our lunch hours and the 5 to 10 minutes of downtime you had at 8 to 5 at a busy practice that we were in, like that, to actually try and fit in calls. And I think we luckily took a lot of advantage of having that shared time together. On the way to work, about an hour, the way home, about an hour.
Oh, yeah. We did a lot of calls with you on our drive home.
We unfortunately recorded always the most inconvenient times, but it was really the only time that we had available, because for the startup process, there's a lot that you don't know. If the lease is going to fall through, and you're trying to figure out, you're talking to all these people, the lawyers, the suppliers, your CPAs. So I think for us, in order to make it happen, we really just had to find time in the day. We didn't realize that there was actually time available, because when we're home, and we're all guilty of this, but we really try to that's our children's time. It's not our time. That for us, we got home at 6 p.m. Bedtime was 7:30. we had an hour and a half a day with our kids, and we did not want to impose that on them. It wasn't our children's decision to open shine. So we didn't feel it fair to sacrifice the little time we already had with them.
Yeah. So it was lunchtime
us.
calls.
Yeah.
It was the drive to and from, which was an hour each way.
Yep.
Listen to your podcast, a ton to learn. After they went to bed, we did a lot of things as well. So you just really, and then on the weekends, luckily my parents live like 10 minutes from us. So they would watch the kids while we had to go meet or have meetings or phone calls. So you just have to make it work. And it is a little stressful doing the full-time work plus planning a business, but we made it happen. We got through it. And I think like we always just think worst case scenario. So it was very challenging, but I feel like I was thinking it was going to be like way worse than it was, because we had the help. We knew we needed help. So we enlisted you, Mike, at Next Level. So we basically were like, we need to get as much help as we can. So making the time for that was more challenging, but having the support made it, I think, a little easier. We knew we didn't know what we were really doing.
Yeah. And I'd love to talk. Let's just go down that road just a little bit, because I would like to talk just a little bit about the structure of the pedo and the ortho. Because when you and I, everybody knows that when you think about an ortho-pedo practice, there's a lot of different ways to make an ortho-pedo work. They could be shared space. There could be completely separate space. We could have separate names, same names, some team members that are shared, some team members that are not. And I'm wondering if you guys wouldn't mind just talking through the structure that you guys set up and your thought process and that, especially for any of my listeners out there who may be thinking of doing an ortho-pedo, because I think it always sounds, oh, it'll be easy. We'll just bring pedo in and it'll just be so easy and it'll grow really fast. And I'd love to talk about some of that. And also, I think it's important to say that we did enlist a pediatric consultant to help you, Lauren, on the business side of it, because that was something that I could help you guys through most of it, but it is not something that I specialize in just on the management side of pedo. So would you guys mind unpacking that a little bit and just talking about kind of your thought process on how you decided to set the practice up?
Yeah, I think initially, because we worked in an office that was how we structured ours, that was where our brains initially went. And then obviously through our discussions while we were designing the practice, we discussed shared spaces or two completely separate clinics. And I think for us, the vision was we both wanted to have a place that eventually became our full-time forever practice. So we pretty quickly rolled out, like, we'll do an ortho day and a pedo day and just share chairs. A lot of stuff between the two flow easily. Like, we've set up the hygiene bay like an ortho bay. It's easy for us to flow back and forth, but we pretty quickly ruled out the people. They're the type of practice where people have ortho one day, pedo another day, and you just have it kind of set up like a pediatric office or like an ortho office. Yeah. I knew Lauren wouldn't have what she needed to do if we treated her side like an ortho side. And we also spent 5 years working in a practice laid out that way. And we just saw how efficient it can be when done the right way. If you have two separate offices with shared check-in.
Space, so we have a shared waiting room. The left side of the office is pedo. The right side of the office is ortho. In between is a shared sterile, shared lab, shared break room, and shared staff, and shared piano, Ceph, x-rays. So it is one office. It's just we have the his and her side, basically. And it makes it just convenient for parents that we are all under the one roof. Obviously, in the beginning, like, ortho does start a lot slower. So there were days where it was just me and he wasn't here, but it was all in-house. And as we've grown now, we're over a year open. We're here together 3.5 days a week. There's a Tuesday's an ortho day only, basically. And I'm working at an associate, and Wednesday's pedo only, and he's at the associate. We tried to make it so it flowed. It's convenient for families, but it is one office, just like his and her side. So we can do an ortho exam the same day as like the pedo exam because he's here. And if he's not, then we do a virtual exam. We take all the records and then he looks at it on that one day he's not in the office.
Yeah. And we were very adamant in the beginning about cross-training the staff, how crucial that was going to be for us, knowing that there was just no way for us to hire an ortho staff or a ped staff, because most of the time if people are looking for a role in a practice, they don't want a part-time job. And if you were going to have a true ortho only, I was here 1 day a week for our first 7-ish months of being open, that those people just weren't out there that wanted to work 1 day a week. So we knew Lauren was going to pick up faster. So we looked for people with a peds background and who seemed like they would be pretty quick to pick up ortho. If someone with experience usually picks stuff up a little bit faster. And we were very fortunate. We found, out of our initial hires, we've got multiple people here who have been now for over a year, which I know is not always the case with startups. Everybody was really bought into that mindset where you're not just a pediatric or an orthodontic employee, you're a Shine team member. We call ourselves the Shine family. They're not just here to help on hygiene or restorative or ortho.
And we were lucky to find our front desk. She's great. She was an office manager before. But she also is an RDA that had ortho experience and pedo experience. So
and had been in ortho TC.
So we were like pulling Kristen from the front to like also do cleanings. And so we had 3 essentially in the beginning, 2 that were just our pedo RDAs. 1 was an EPTA. And then our front desk could also help in the back, help on ortho. She was our treatment coordinator in the beginning. We were lucky to find people that were willing to learn and then could do like multiple things.
Yeah, that's great. And I really do think that was the key, is having the versatility. We knew we had certain employees that we had to train in very specific roles, because there are just things that don't cross over very well on the front end side of it. But in the clinical side, I think it was just a really good move, because no matter what, it's still a startup practice and we only have so many people that we can afford to.
Well,
I mean, it's
your assistant for Dr. Mike ran the clinic himself until like 8 months, 10 months in, basically. With Kristen helping with treatment coordinating, basically.
And then we brought on a treatment coordinator finally, so that our front desk wasn't doing 15 different roles at the same time. She was doing clinic and treatment coordinating for me, and helping out in clinic on both sides.
And all the front desk stuff.
And then we were lucky to bring in our treatment coordinator, Nicole, who was an RDA, had worked in ortho, had been in ortho TC at a previous office that I had worked in a little bit with her. So again, another one of those unicorns that for us, honestly, it was just kind of luck and timing, but we've always relied on our staff for internal referrals. And she was one of those people that actually Kristen, the front desk, recommended, knew she would fit in the culture and had the background. She ended up being a dual clinical person and TC. And the last few months we were getting really busy, and I could tell I was asking her to do a little more than any one person could manage, being an ortho TC and an assistant. So big news. We hired our first ortho mostly employee, another person who's got 20 years of ortho.
He's worked with her before. And she can do things in ortho that I can't even do, because she's been an ortho assistant for so long. So
that's wonderful.
Amazing as well.
But again, even with her in the 3 weeks she's been here, she stepped in and helped out with pro fees and helped out in hygiene, and she hasn't been outside of an ortho assistant for I think close to 20 years. So
she's here answering calls this morning. Everyone does everything. So that's been great.
I love that. And I would love it if we could just explore. I know the two of you have had some real vision. You guys have been talking about this as you've been talking about your employees, but really that, I don't know, creating that built-in loyalty. And you talk about Shine as a family, the Shine family. I'm wondering if you guys can just expand on that a little bit, and how important it has been to your brand and to the two of you as leaders to have a vision in what you are looking for when you think of culture in your practice. And I'm also wondering, knowing day one where you were to where you are now, just how you've seen that evolve and even where you see it going from here.
I mean, I feel like in the beginning on in the process of hiring, we would always have a phone call. And then if we liked them, we would meet in person. And I think like we just have, it's the same like when we used to have someone help with our kids at home. We just really went on like how we connected with them. Obviously, we would love experience, but like my first clinical hire, she was pregnant. We hired her pregnant. She told us 3 months that she was 3 months pregnant. And I was, Mike, that might be like a little bit challenging. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I love her. She's pedo. She has oral sedation like experience, but for some reason, like she just connected. I connected with her, and I was like, we have to have her. It was the greatest thing we could have done. So I think we just find people that we connect with more. And then if it's a clinic, like we can train them to do what we want. And as long as they like align with values with us, if they're hard workers, I feel like we have a pretty good sense of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So far it's gone well for the most part. And I think it's just more the way we connect with people. And we have told them from day one, we want you to come to us. We're very open. We are not, I don't know what the word is. We want them to feel comfortable telling us things. We've told them from day one, we want you guys to grow from within the practice. And like, we want our assistants to work up to being team leads when we have team leads, office managers when we have office managers. Like if she wants to go be an FDET, like we want them to grow within our practice. We want them to feel like part of our family. And we've just said that from day one. And that's how it's been. And now they're like, they always say, we love you so much. We're never leaving. And we're like, please don't ever leave. We need you to stay. So that's just how we've always approached. And so of our first 4 hires, we still have 3. And then everyone else we've added has pretty much been the same. So we've had very low turnover. And I think they've just bought into the Shine family. And they feel comfortable telling us when there's something that they don't like. But that's, I think, part of it is you just want them to feel like they're part of the family. You can add to that.
Yeah. I think one thing that we both just consciously or unconsciously do is we try to empower the staff to feel like you're not just a dental assistant. It's like everybody helping out with social media, or are there systems in place that you guys see that you've seen at another office that's maybe working better? Because Lauren and I, this is our first practice that we've opened. We've worked for one company. They had the same systems in every location. A lot of our team's been in more dental offices than we have. We go to them and say, hey, how have you done this in another office? And how did that work? So I think partially the reason why maybe everybody feels that collective family sense is it's not just us telling them what to do. We ask them what they're thinking.
And I think they understand that like we rely on them super heavily for this practice to work. And I think they like having that sense of
they matter.
That they matter. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that I'm like, you guys have to do this because I don't even really know what I'm doing. Right. So they know that they are helping us to build and grow the practice. And I think they like that.
I think something that Lauren does that she probably doesn't realize she's doing is there's this term called servant leadership. It's a biblical initially, and then it's like an actual type of way of leading an office. And I don't think she means to do it. I think it's just her nature, but it's that hierarchy of team, patience, and then self comes last. I don't think that's something that Lauren consciously does, but I think that's also part of the reason why. And then I do my best to try to do the same.
I love that.
I think that's part of it too, is a lot of places it's counterintuitive. You would think patient at the top of the list, but if that team is second, the patient is spending more time with the team than the doctor a lot of the times. And if the team's not happy and they're not feeling like they're fulfilled or in a place where they're excited to come to, the patient coming second is going to ultimately be the patient they need. They're not going to have a good experience. So I think I think that kind of big picture is that framework is probably why so far we've had a lot of success with staff.
And we try to show them how much we appreciate them. Obviously, in the beginning, as a startup, we may not be able to pay them as much as some places, but we try to give them benefits as we can right now. We treat them when they're having to work really hard. Like we try to bring them a little something. And they've told us multiple times, like, you guys show us how much, that mean to you. And so I think it's just finding the balance. I'm still finding the balance of being their boss. Like Mike's always like, you they probably see you more as like a friend than a boss, but we're getting there. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the reason too, is like they just feel comfortable with us. So again, that's what we just aimed for.
And I just want to point out a couple things. First, I think that what you guys are doing, which is really great, is you are showing your team that there is a career path within your practice. And they are not just showing up to do a job and then go home. And I really believe that just that one piece right there is really what gets the buy-in for team members to say, you know what, I love Dr. Lauren, I love Dr. Mike, I want to be on their team forever, I never want to leave them. And I think not everybody is motivated by money, and even the little things of just servant leadership, recognizing a hard day's work and being like, hey ladies or gentlemen, here's a Starbucks on us, you guys killed it today, I know it was tough. It's not a lot, but it's that little tiny gesture, maybe a little card that you're writing that just says, hey, thanks so much, recognize what you're doing when you don't even see that I'm recognizing it or something. And I think you guys have just done a really good job at that, and if as you continue on, it's going to just continue to benefit you. But secondarily, I wanted to just point out, I believe 20 years into owning a business now, you are always growing. We're always growing as leaders and mentors, and where you guys are at now and where you'll be 5 years from now, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, we can never just put the brakes on and be like, I know it all now. And I think that's the beauty of it too, is as you guys continue to mature in your roles and you continue to get more team members under you, it's only going to get better. And you'll look back and go, maybe that wasn't the best decision I made then. I made it, and now we're in a different spot or whatnot. And that's also the beauty of growing, is sometimes we have to maneuver our way through spots that with maturity, we can look back and go,
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, absolutely. And that's just part of it, right? Like we can't know it all from the beginning. And it's just fun to see you guys growing in this role too. And to think every time you add a new team member, we've got another family member that we have to take care of. And that's going to push you in a different way. Everybody's going to bring a little something that's going to help you grow as a leader in the business. And now a word from the sponsors who make this podcast possible. Are you thinking about opening an orthodontic practice? I know, it's a big decision, but saving 25% on the ADEC equipment you need to get started, that's an easy one. Because ADEC has a special program called Smart Start, designed to help you launch your first practice. You get up to 25% off your ADEC orthodontic equipment and furniture. You also get complimentary services to help you run and grow your business. And my favorite part, access to the Smart Start pricing for 2 whole years after you open your doors. That gives you flexibility to add more chairs as your cash flow grows. It's pretty smart. As an orthodontist, you care about getting all the little details right, and ADEC really got it right with this program. So if starting off with a big savings on ADEC equipment sounds good to you, the ADEC Smart Start is definitely worth a closer look. Just follow the link in the show notes to learn more. Hey docs, let's talk about SmileSuite, because it's not just another scheduling system. It's a game changer in the world of new patient management. And as a proud SmileSuite partner, I've witnessed the incredible impact it has on practices of all sizes. SmileSuite means your new patient calls and web leads are expertly handled 7 days a week, even during nights and weekends. And they offer top-notch customizable presentation software and seamless post-consultation follow-up. It's like having a secret weapon for your practice's success. Curious? Dive into the revolution at GetSmileSuite.com. And don't forget to mention Hey Docs to unlock some extra goodies. Elevate your practice with SmileSuite, because every smile deserves a suite of excellence. So I'm wondering if we can switch gears a little bit now. And I just want to switch back to the practice for a minute and talk about just your vision on trying to have everything in-house at the practice and just that patient experience now and what you guys had. So we've talked about the team vision and kind of the culture, but I would love it because I feel like you guys have always had a pretty good vision on what you wanted your patient experience to be like when they made their way either from pedo to ortho or ortho to pedo. Would you guys mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from day one was just efficiency and convenience for families. There's nothing worse than when you're like, you have a pediatric patient, they have an orthodontic consult in another office. They're like, okay, we need 3 extractions. So then you have to go back to the pediatric practice. And then, or if they're already in treatment, you find a cavity and then they have to go get their brackets off, come back to this office, get the filling, and then go back to the other office and get the brackets back on. So we've tried to just eliminate that. And so a lot of times we'll see, we had a perfect example. We had a new patient early on, first time to us, she's 9 or 10. We took a pano. I'm like, she's got the most impacted canine ever. So she went like immediately to Dr. Mike for the exam. And then I think she ended up having to go to oral surgery, but it meant like she could do same day consult.
Yep.
The records were taken.
Records were taken
because we had already taught the staff how to do ortho records.
So it was basically like we knew. I think they signed almost that day to start treatment because we found. And mom was like, "How have we never seen this before? Or how has this never been mentioned?" Which who knows what happened, but we just are able to offer like same day. Hey, you don't even have to go to the other side of the office. Like we can just take the ortho records on the pedo side. Dr. Mike can look at them, come look clinically, and then have a treatment plan. And then if they do need extractions, I will do the extractions in-house most of the time. Now, if it's an impacted canine, I'm not doing that. But that's what's been like so convenient is, and if kids need sedation for the extractions, 6 orthodontic extractions, can do it in-house. And we're not having to go to 2 different offices for 5 different appointments. And I think that's been like, parents love that. We've had some families who their older kids were in braces elsewhere, but they came here for their cleanings. The younger kids are getting braces with us. And they're like, gosh, it's really annoying that I have to go back to the other orthodontist to get my child untied. Come here for, I think we were doing like pig lateral buildups, then back to the other office. It's so great that my younger kids now are just in braces with you and we can do it all like same day. So that's what's like the biggest thing. And parents seem to love it. Or just cleanings with their adjustments. So we do the cleaning on my side. My assistant, since they're dual trained, they can untie them, do the cleaning. I do the check and then they tie them back in with the adjustment. So it just makes it so that instead of 5 appointments per year, you could essentially do it in way less. That's what we've aimed to do from day one and make it as efficient as possible.
Yeah. I also think something that's unique to us is me being married to a pediatric dentist and she being married to an orthodontist, I think allowed both of us to grow clinically to try to understand, ortho kind of becomes its own little bubble and you get out 5 years from dental school and you don't remember what it's like to do a filling or what maybe a difficult extraction is going to be, what it actually means for the patient or for the provider. I think something that's unique to us that's beneficial is I think both of us are elevated clinically because we really understand holistically, full picture, what we're doing for the patient. I think Lauren doesn't give herself enough credit. Things that she catches, like she mentioned in the impacted canine, I think because she and I have looked at thousands of hands and images together, kind of what I'm looking at when I'm evaluating a patient. I think she thinks a lot more like an orthodontist would compared to most pediatric dentists, and then vice versa. I feel like I can get a much better idea of maybe if what I'm recommending does need to go to a specialist or if it's something that Lauren really is the right person to take care of. So I think that's something that's maybe we're unique in terms of having both specialties, but then from a provider level standpoint, I think just given our background, that's given us a little bit unique in terms of our just
Yeah.
general knowledge and ability to practice. Just
I mean,
because of that.
not to like say I am more experienced, but I think I've only ever worked in an ortho-pedo practice, and I'm married to a husband that does ortho. So I do feel that I know when to catch things earlier, and I know when to send to the orthodontist. I think earlier, not like we're pushing treatment, but I find things I think before other dentists sometimes do that don't have as much ortho experience. And I think that's been helpful in preventing some cases becoming more extensive on the ortho side. Like we've caught it, we've done an early phase 1, fixed the problem, and then some kids not even needing a phase 2, or like preventing an impacted canine case that could take, I don't know, 4 years, however long those take. So I think that also is beneficial being in our practice. Or I'm like, hey, this baby canine isn't loose and you're 13. There's probably something going on. We should probably take the x-ray, and then I catch it and send it over to him right away. So I think, or if it's coming from a general dentist, like a lot of, no offense, general dentists, because I hate adult dentistry, but they'll be like, it's just a baby tooth still in there. They just haven't lost it, but they're not thinking like, that's the only baby tooth left. And it's not loose. So maybe there's a reason why that's the
maybe
case.
There's a problem.
So, so that's, I think that's one of the biggest pros to our office as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm going to just throw you guys a curveball and ask you this. If I have listeners that are listening and maybe they aren't a pedo ortho practice, but maybe it's an ortho that is trying to build a relationship with the pedo doctor, or maybe vice versa, but usually it's going to be ortho trying to forge a relationship with pedo. Would either one of you feel comfortable maybe talking about, maybe Lauren, from a pedo perspective, what do you think if an orthodontist were trying to build a relationship with you, that they would like that they should be trying to find out about maybe your treatment philosophies, methods, things like that, to better have a working relationship? And maybe Mike, for you, if you were out talking to somebody besides Lauren, what would you be doing or trying to make sure that she understood about your treatment or whatnot to help bridge that? Because you guys have it where you work together, but a lot of docs are not. I know this is a tough question, but does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah.
You want to kick it off? I think you're probably...
I would say, are you asking like for me, from my standpoint, like if an orthodontist is referring to me, in general, from both sides, we are trying to make it clear that we're like not going to steal patients from, we are trying to refer back to whoever's sending to us just possible. Now, if a parent, because that's, I think the biggest fear is from other dentists, is like that they might refer someone to us. And then since we have both in house, the patient stay with us. And we're trying to say, no, please go back to unless they absolutely want to stay with us. Like, we're not trying to steal patients. I think that's a big fear. I would say I am also, in general, as a pediatric dentist, I'm very conservative in practice compared to probably a lot of people. So I try to just let people know I'm not going to do treatment unless I think it's absolutely necessary. And I like to give lots of different options to parents for treatment. So I think that's like my biggest thing that I try to just to explain to people is that, hey, I'm not going to send it to Dr. Mike if you refer into us. But also there's times where I get referred treatment and I don't always do it because I don't always think it's necessary. And so I just want doctors to know that I do practice more conservatively and get that across to them. I don't know if that answers your question, but
I guess what I'm thinking about is, so let's pretend like an orthodontist was trying to get to know. It sounds like it would be good if they were trying to find out your treatment philosophies. Yeah. So how does Dr. Lauren handle phase 1s? Is she into airway? Is she more conservative or aggressive? What kind of cases is she comfortable with, not comfortable with? Does that, and I don't know, Dr. Mike, if you can talk to that too.
I feel like it applies maybe
so I think
to you.
Yeah, I think a lot of times if I were meeting Lauren and she were just a pediatric dentist I'm married to, a lot of times my job as the ortho is maybe to educate if you have a pediatric dentist that's maybe not so orthodontically minded,
Yes.
things that they should be looking for, when to refer early. Because I really don't, I know AAO's recommendation is you refer at age 7 to the orthodontist, when truthfully not every kid at 7 needs to be seen. And I think your role as the orthodontist with your referring docs, whether it be a pediatric dentist or a GP, is maybe give them that orthodontic viewpoint on things that need to be noticed on an x-ray, or, oh, it's just a single tooth crossbite that's going to be super simple for them to fix, when really you can just wait till all the baby teeth are out to do that. I think things like that, where Lauren, beneficially, she is aware of when to refer. Now, from the flip side, I have seen a few sticking points with orthos referring treatment back to Lauren, who they do their primary care here. You mentioned the peg laterals, and some providers are very particular about where they want spaces left for buildups, or if it's just a small lateral. Every provider is different, and clinically they may say, I always want the space on the distal. Sometimes I've seen orthos just, you make the space where you think it's right, and you take the bracket off and you send it to the dentist, and then they get to the office and they don't have room to make it right or to make it look right. So I think just from the 10,000 foot view, seeing some of the things that Lauren has run into is maybe people not understanding her like treatment philosophies, or don't send her an ankylosed K that's completely submerged below the gum line. Just because she's a pediatric dentist doesn't mean she can always take out every single primary tooth. These are things that just through the years that I've seen wind up on her plate, that the last thing that we like doing is have someone come back to us and then we can't help them with the problem they've been informed of exists. Or the worst thing I think as an orthodontist I would feel is if I send somebody for their peg laterals, they get built up and the kid's been super self-conscious about these teeny teeth, and then the doctor can't do that. So I think it goes back to probably having regular, open, communicative relationships. With if you're the orthodontist, with your referrer, or
I think like we do. I feel like when we've met with other doctors in the area. So I think for me, it's probably more like the GPs sending to me. Those are the relationships that I try to get. I try to make them know like what I'm comfortable with, what I can do to help them. And then I think for you, it is like the pediatric dentist referring, outsider pediatric dentist referring to you. And like I try to, when we have meetings with these doctors at lunch, we say, hey, I can do laughing gas, I can do oral sedation, I can do GA, and I can do all these procedures, but there's a lot of things that I also don't like doing. And I'm very comfortable in referring out when it's something I know what I'm good at, and I don't like doing a lot of things that I'm not good at because I don't like getting into trouble. We try to make those expectations like clear when we meet with other doctors. And I think for me, it's more probably the general dentist that I'm having to make those expectations more clear with. And then for you, I feel like it is like the pediatric dentists in town that refer to you.
Yeah. And I think for the offices that are referring to us, for them to understand how we function, or if you're just thinking about the ped side, a lot of times someone gets referred here, you can't offer same day treatment. And we don't know if that messaging is just being lost on the parent, or if we're maybe telling the offices, if you go to Shine, you'll get treatment done same day. And there are some things that can be done same day, but there's some
oral sedation consults. Get out there to the public.
So I think
cannot be done same day.
That would be
So that's like so that's another thing. Like when we have all referrals in, and they know the other doctors usually know that, but just the parents may not always hear it. So it's just getting the expectations out there to avoid miscommunications and issues in office.
I think orthodontist referring, you should understand the systems to some extent at the practice you're referring to.
Right. And I think that was my big take home, what I was trying to get from you guys, which you guys did a great job at. That is,
took us a while to get there.
It's the hard work that we have to do, right? When we're building relationships. You guys had the same list that I give all my docs, your hot till not docs, and you have to get out there and get to know docs and work on your referrals and all of that. And there is this point where we have to do the work, doctor, to find out about the other person. Yes, we want to be friends with them, and yes, we want them to refer to us. We want to refer to them, but we also do need to take some time to actually understand the way each other treats, so that it's not only about understanding it from a higher level, treatment component, but also breaking it down to that patient expectation.
Yeah.
So that the patient is going to have the best experience
Yeah.
as they move through the system between each of the doctors that they're
exactly.
that they're
'Cause,
working
you know,
with.
we don't want people referring to us if they think they're coming to a holistic dentist, and we're totally opposite of that. We're not, but I'm just saying we don't want to send someone into an office that they're just not going to be a good fit at. So knowing that ahead of time is good too.
Yeah. Guys, it's hard to believe that we're already 45 minutes into this, and I know we could just keep talking and talking.
Yeah.
But we've got to bring it to an end. If somebody is listening and they're like, "Man, I would just love to talk to Dr. Mike or Dr. Lauren. I've got some ideas about doing a pediatric practice," or just in general, if they've got questions for you. Would you guys mind sharing with how they may be able to connect with you guys, or they can find out more about your practice?
Yeah. First thing you can do is go to our website, shinepdo.com. However, you're not going to, all you can do on there is like request an appointment. We've done this with a lot of people, a lot of friends. Lauren's little brother's a pediatric dentist. So his friends that have asked about our experience, we're always happy to jump on the phone with people. I probably won't give our cell phone on your show.
No, you don't need to do that.
Is public.
Yeah.
If you email admin@shinepdo.com.
Perfect.
We check the email every day.
Yep.
We're happy to talk with people.
We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Our office name, you can find us there, and we have people checking like messages.
Yeah. Jill has not asked us to do this, but we would be more than happy to talk about our experience of working with her and her team.
Thank you.
We are 150,000% so grateful that we worked with you guys. And then our personal account person, Annie, was amazing. Still in touch with her, even though our time technically is over. Annie, I owe you a response to your email. I'm sorry. We need to get that. I know she'll be there probably.
She will.
But
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
guys.
would also be happy to do that because again, Jill did not ask us to say that from us personally. So we got an amazing experience with you and your team.
Yep.
We can talk about that experience as well.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Oh, that's so sweet. Air hugs. All right. You guys know how I like to finish this up. I like to finish it up with a little tiny speed round. We'll probably just do question each. How about that? I'll at one. So you get to decide who gets to take the first one. All right. First question, whoever wants to take it. What is one daily habit or ritual that helps you stay productive or balanced?
Yours.
You want me to take this one?
Yeah.
So every day we drive to the office, we have our kids in the car. So usually we're managing the family and trying to get them going. The kids are obsessed with rock and roll music, which is awesome.
Yes,
So
I love that.
Just to get our headspace going, we try and get the kids off the iPad. We'll put on a song that all the kids love. Right now, our 3-year-old loves Enter Sandman by Metallica. So we'll put that on as we're pulling into daycare. You get everybody's mindset right. So we're going to keep that process going as long as we can because it's hilarious. But it does help start the day positively.
Yes. I love that. I love that, little rock heads. I love it. All right. Lauren, we'll go with this one for you. What is your go-to strategy for getting unstuck when you're facing a tough problem?
Oof. Honestly, I probably walk away from it for a second and then think about it. I'm do the same. I'll clear my mind doing something silly and then come back. Sometimes I just need to step away and think instead of just react. That whether it's at the office or with my kids or all those things, I think I just or with you. With you. I just need to step away for a second and be like, this is probably not as big of an issue as it is, as I think it is. And I need to just process it and then come back. So just not to react suddenly and take a moment to process and then come back. That's usually what I have to do when I'm stuck with something.
She always tells me to sleep on it, and it's always the best advice.
Yep. I love it. That's great. All right. And here's one more. I'll let you guys choose who takes this one. If you could add one unconventional perk to every workplace, what would it be?
You want to do it or you want me to do it?
You can go ahead.
We talked about it this morning.
You go ahead.
I can't remember where I saw this. I think it was a dental office. They have a fully functioning coffee bar, like a barista
In the waiting room.
And I'm
Yes.
like, all right, where can we add a wall?
It's literally like a
And-
cafe. It's
Yes.
The waiting room is just a coffee shop. And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Instead of our little Keurig up there, that was great.
Yeah. And then free coffee.
Yeah.
for staff and
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way.
But who wouldn't really love going to work to have that?
Also,
All right.
the
And
thing
then
we thought of was our next door neighbors are nail salon. And so if you have a female staff, building right next to a nail salon is great. They love it.
yes, I would agree. I would agree with that one too. All right. And then the very last one business idea you have seen that you wish you had thought of.
The coffee one probably would have been a good one. I don't know what.
I work part-time in an office that has chairs that are like massage chairs.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
I think that is such a smart idea to do in the waiting room. I have
Or
clients
in the
all
chair.
yeah.
Like dental chair.
Yep.
Or a dental chair with
Yeah.
a little massage in it. Yeah.
That
I think that's like not necessarily like a big business decision, but like a small thing you can do to help with the patient experience. Things like that.
Yeah. And then everybody's fighting on the lunch break on
On
who's
lunch
sitting in
break,
the
yeah.
chair. Guys, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. Again, great insight. And I know everybody who's listening is going to get a lot out of it. So thank you.
Thank
for
you.
inviting
Thanks
us.
for having us.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye.